let's start with this. Whenever we talk about great coaches and great organizations, we always just throw the Niners in there. We just lump them in there. That's a good organization. That's a good roster. That's a good coach. Can we stop doing that? Kyle Shanahan's record now is worse than Mike Singletary's. They're 1-10 at home in the last 2 years. Well, George Kittle is hurt. He's always hurt. Well, Jimmy Garoppolo's coming off an injury. He's always coming off an injury. Well, the secondary is beat up and not playing great. Yeah, that's who you are. The secondary's always beat up, and it hasn't been great in 4 years. They can't solve it. Even in their own division. Rams, better roster, better organization, fewer draft whiffs, and a better quarterback. Arizona, better quarterback, better momentum. They've hit on more free agent signings. Well, what about Seattle? At least they got Russell Wilson. San Francisco in their own division, organizationally, roster, they're 4 of 4. And not only do they look disorganized outside of the first and second, maybe, drives of the game, they had a later one in the second half that was pretty slick, but they coach scared. I mean, it's funny. The Colts, Carson Wentz had a couple of, ugly turnovers early. Didn't deter them at all. They still coached him hard. They gave Carson Wentz opportunities. Listen, it's funny about this. Mike Vrabel and Frank Reich must have bad agents because they're really good coaches with a variety of different quarterbacks, from Marcus Mariota to 100-year-old Phillip Rivers. Frank Reich and Mike Vrabel just have winning season, and have winning records. Kyle Shanahan has a losing record. And it's all we talk about. Oh, let's just insert him into the good coaches. You got to give me some returns. I don't care where my stockbroker went to college. I don't want to hear about Harvard, Princeton, and Wharton Business School. I want to see returns. This team doesn't win. They don't win at home. Well, Shanahan, it's Garoppolo's not good enough. That's the only time Kyle Shanahan wins. That's with Garoppolo. He can't win without him. I don't want to hear about Garoppolo. Everybody makes fun of Bill O'Brien. Remember that guy? They always make fun of him. Do you know Bill O'Brien had a winning record in Houston, 27-21, before Deshaun Watson? He was winning games with Tom Savage and Brock Osweiler. You got to win games. There was every reason last night for Indianapolis to lay an egg. Think about this. They're a dome team. They played in the monsoon. They were on the road, West Coast, late night, big TV game. They had major injuries on their offense. They had ugly turnovers early, and yet they played a brilliant second half. They don't coach scared. They overcome injuries. Frank Reich and this organization rolled the dice on Carson Wentz. He has been terrific. Only one interception this year. It's the lowest among all starters. And I don't know what it is. This is not a shot at Kyle Shanahan, but he's a very rigid personality, and I watched that team last night. They're coached rigidly. They coach scared. Listen, if you're going to coach that way with Jimmy Garoppolo, play Trey Lance. What's the point? What is the point? It's like we said about Chicago. If you're going to coach conservatively with Andy Dalton, well, then just give Justin Fields reps. But there was every reason for the Colts to lay down last night. Dome team, in a monsoon, out west, TV game, underdog, key injuries, bad early turnovers, and they came out hyper-aggressive in the second half and stole that game. And organizationally, the Niners have had too many whiffs in the draft, haven't hit on all their free agents. We got to stop lumping them in with the great teams. Just got to keep him off the great coach, great organization, great roster. Enough. In division, in their own division, they are 4 of 4. Worst quarterback. You can make an argument now, worst roster. 4 of 4. Lost the last 7 games at home. This is not an elite franchise, not an elite roster. I want to talk about what I saw yesterday with Kansas City and Tennessee. A lot of people in the media, it's called safetyism. They say safe stuff. Always pick favorites. Always defend young quarterbacks struggling. They don't want any pushback. I saw this years ago with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl. Had a bunch of commercials. And I was considered outrageous for saying he's condescending, not necessarily a good teammate. I'm hearing bad things. His family's squawking. There's open receivers. He won't hit them. And in the end, years later, it came out, yeah, I was right. But for years and years, I took all this heat. It's the same with Mahomes. People are terrified in the media to get blowback on social media and Twitter, so they play it safe. Mahomes is great. Rodgers is great. That's easy. But the audience, and I can tell from the size of my audience, which is enormous, appreciates when you're willing to say stuff and you're going to get crap for it. And a couple of weeks ago, I said this on Mahomes. I'm not sure he's playing as good as Derek Carr right now in his own division. Forget the league. He's not throwing the ball as well as Joe Burrow right now. He's making more mistakes than Justin Herbert right now. The media is terrified to criticize him because they'll get blowback. Folks, in the last 3 games, Patrick has more picks than touchdowns. His passer rating 75. He's completing 62% of his passes. In the NFL in 2021, that's a bad quarterback. And he's got a good O-line and a brilliant coach and great weapons. It's not a hot take. He's not playing well. He's got every advantage to play well, and he's playing poorly. Right now, he's tied with Zach Wilson with the most interceptions in football. He's got 17 turnovers. It's week 7. Okay? And by the way, he's a great kid. He understands it. But Lance Zierlein, whose dad coached in the NFL for years, is now a talk show host in Houston, and he's a scout, and he's one of the better scouts out there that's on the air. And he said it yesterday in a tweet. He said his meltdown right now for him is staggering. Taking care of the football and decision-making, those were the concerns out of college. And it's coming back to haunt him as a pro. It is not a criticism of Mahomes, the human. He's a great kid. It's not an indictment on his character. And being a quarterback has never been a linear experience. I mean, Brady's literally got 3 careers. He's got the early Tom where the defense carried him. Good, not special. Okay, he's amazing in his prime Tom, the Randy Moss years. And now there's the old Tom. What the hell does he do? I don't understand. How's he still this good, Tom? It's like Brady's got 3. And by the way, in the process, in the middle of that, he had 10 years with 2 Super Bowls, lost them both. It's not a linear experience. You have highs and lows. You lose a receiver. You lose a left tackle. You lose a great coordinator. You replace him with a bad coordinator. But let's stop being terrified about this. Mahomes is not playing good football right now. Doesn't mean he's a bad kid. Doesn't mean he's not coachable. Doesn't mean he won't bounce back out of it. But it's at this point, I'm seeing the Aaron Rodgers thing, where Aaron literally won a Super Bowl, and if you push back at all, it's a hot take. No, I mean, Aaron declined for 3 straight years. That's why I have defended drafting Jordan Love. I hated that draft. Second pick was a running back, should have been a wide receiver. I think they too often in the draft, Packers go after like developmental guys and offensive linemen. I didn't love that, but I got the Jordan Love thing. He had his second injury to Aaron. He was declining, gradually, small, granular, but he was declining. The audience appreciates us being honest about this. Right now, Derek Carr is playing better football than Patrick Mahomes. Doesn't mean Derek Carr is better than Patrick Mahomes. But he's a turnover machine right now. Like bad, like Zach Wilson. He's bad. And got the coach, and the offensive line's fine. It's not top 5, but it's good. And the receiver's great. And that guy's good. And the plays are smart. And he's missing on stuff. It's okay. Now, the good news is that Patrick is like incredibly easy to embrace. He's bright. He'll get it. He'll turn it around. Hell, he may turn it around next weekend. There's a guy in Cleveland that would give you a cocky answer. No, he's not cocky. Totally gets it. Dad was a pro athlete. He'll be fine. But it's okay to acknowledge it. People will appreciate it. He's not playing great football right now. He's great talent. He's not playing great football. He'll get better. He'll snap out of it. But Greg Cosell told us a couple weeks ago, he wouldn't be the easiest guy to coach. So much of his talent is off script. It's not that easy. I mean, he's doing a lot of different things people can't. But when you watch him, you're watching the games and I'm watching. He's making some bad throws. It's not an indictment of him. You're watching it. He's loose with the football. His mechanics are just not quite right. It's okay. And by the way, his reads aren't very good. For the record, there's no indignity losing to Tennessee. We've seen that in the last couple of weeks. They've beaten Buffalo and the Chiefs, both at home. There's no indignity here. It's okay. You can lose to Tennessee, probably a top 6 or 7 team, but because we view them as boring and run first, nobody calls them a good team. But it is okay. Mahomes will get better, but not right now. He's not good right now. Not playing really, really well right now. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.